everybody, and welcome to this edition of HCAM Sports Talk. On today's edition, we'll have Andy Barron and Kevin Stone joining us, and we'll talk about Week 1 in the NFL. And, of course, we are bringing back our world-famous NFL pick segment. But first, we are going to check in with some Hillers fall sports teams. We recently caught up with the Hillers girls soccer team as well as the football team as they get ready for the fall season. So here's a look. Hopkinton Hillers girls soccer finished the shortened 2020-2021 season with a very good record of 6 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. This year, they are hoping that they will be able to have a normal season, and they are getting ready to kick things off next week. This year's 4 captains bring some great experience to the table.
Ava Perlov, outside forward. Ashley Butler, and I play center midfield.
I'm Riley Krattenmaker, and I play center back.
I'm Gabby Siri, and I play defense.
I think we're looking pretty good. We're all pretty skilled. I think one of our main goals is just to make it to playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there.
And it must feel nice practicing without a mask.
Yeah. I think our team's looking really good. We have a lot of younger, strong players, and really a lot of skills throughout. My personal goals are to score a few more goals this season, and keep defending, keep playmaking. Yeah.
I think the team looks really good this year. We have a lot of strong talent and foot skills that will take us a long way. The team is strong all around. I think everyone is really good, and it should be a fun season. And my personal goals are just have a good season, play hard every game, play my best, just score a couple goals, just have fun.
I think the team looks really good this year, and we have a lot of talent all around in all positions, and I'm really looking forward to the season. I feel like we can have a successful season, and I think we just have a lot going for us, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Terrific. So is the group looking good this year? I know a couple players were lost after last season, but
we lost six seniors this past year, but I definitely think that our team this year is starting to bond and gel together, and I really think that us playing together, we're now in preseason and just in practice, we're getting to know each other, and we'll be really ready to go when the season comes.
Head coach of the Hillers, Tom Skiba, enters his 3rd season at the helm and is excited about the talent on this year's team.
How's the team looking so far this year? I know there was 6 seniors that were lost last season, but some good returning players this year. How's everything going so far?
So far, it's been great. We've done a lot of work on possession and defending, and we're spending the day today on attacking, and I'm thinking that attacking could end up being one of our strengths this year.
Terrific. Any new players on this team that we should look out for?
Yeah, definitely. We've got 2 very promising freshmen in Nina Zuganatis and Madison Recupero. So they're very good, and then we have a whole host of returning players from last year and some new sophomores and juniors as well, with everybody looking fantastic. I'm really inspired by how Brooke Birtwhistle has been playing so far in the training sessions. She's going to play in our midfield and fill the shoes of Alexis Veal, who is one of our best players, and by all means, she's doing absolutely fantastic so far.
And it looks like you have some great leadership with your experienced captains this year.
Yeah, the captains have been fantastic. So I can't appreciate enough all the organization that they did to get the girls out in training during the summer. They came in significantly ahead of where I thought they would be, and that is due a lot to the captains and to the captains' moms who organized that for us.
And hopefully this will remain the case, but we're expected to have a normal season with no masks. It must be a little bit easier for you to coach without the mask.
Yeah, absolutely. The rule changes were a challenge for everybody, especially the referees, so I'm sure the refs are going to be happy that they can go back to reffing a real soccer game and not have to deal with a lot of the COVID rules.
Yeah, and absolutely, there was some significant rule changes. Do you think that any of the players who learned those rule changes last year maybe going to have a hard time transitioning back to the regular rules?
I think we'll be okay. The biggest one, some of the biggest ones were the kick-ins, and then everything being indirect when there was contact. So I think you're going to see more physical play than we saw last year, and we'll be ready for that. So looking forward to it.
And we're looking forward to throw-ins this year. Coach, best of luck.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Tight. We're in gun. Down. Go. Get at the field. Keep coming. Go get Brandon. Job, Brandon. Good coverage.
2020 was an odd year for most things, and high school football in the state of Massachusetts was no exception. It was certainly a very different year for all, including the Hopkinton Hillers. Last year's high school football season was a shortened season that featured no playoff games and an all-divisional schedule, and it took place in March and April. Hopkinton finished last season with 2 wins and 3 losses, but are looking forward to what will hopefully be a normal season starting in September.
It's going good. Boys are looking ready. Implementing new offense and defense, going well. Boys, we have potential this year.
And a new head coach this year. What's it
Oh,
been
yeah.
like working with Coach Sanborn?
Oh, it's great. I was excited to see him get the job, and I think we're going to do great things this year.
All right. And what are some of the drills that you're working on here in these early practices?
We're really working on tackling this year, form tackling, not avoiding any head injuries and all that stuff, footwork, all the basics.
And it must be nice to have a normal football season this year.
Yeah, it's better than masks last year. So yeah, excited to finally be back.
Down. Go.
The Hillers have a new coach this season, Mark Sanborn, who's a Hiller alum and a longtime coach for other various Hiller sports, including basketball, baseball, and football, gets his first shot at taking over as head coach for this year's Hillers football team, and he's excited about his opportunity to coach this year's group.
We're just a few weeks in now, and as Aiden mentioned, we're putting in some new schemes on both sides of the ball. But the kids are working hard. That's all we can ask for. They're showing up every day prepared, listening to the coaches. We had a great scrimmage on Saturday and against Shepherd Hill, and we faced Grafton on this Friday. So the big focus this year has just been taking it one day at a time, just getting better every single day. And the kids have, as I said, great effort, great attitude. As a coach, that's all I can ask for.
And a younger team this year. You lost a good amount of seniors after last year. What's it like working with this young group, and have you seen anyone really rising to the cause yet?
Yeah, so we have a small senior class, but every senior that we have on our football team is a big part of the team, and they've been leading the right way on and off the field, which is crucial. We have a really talented junior class, starting with our quarterback, Robbie Litcher, and our tailback, Joey Carraza. And then on the outside, Robbie's twin brother, Paul. Seamus Murphy. We have a lot of good weapons in that junior class, and obviously Aiden as the captain is doing a good job leading us. But we have minimal guys who have varsity experience, so as I said, we're just trying to get a little bit better every single day. And even the freshman and the sophomore, everyone's working hard, working as a unit, as a program, building a good culture, and as I said, as a coach, that's all I can ask for.
And last season took place in March and April, so you had a little less time for this season, but could that possibly be helping in a way?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, some kids just started playing football literally like 3 or 4 months ago, and now they're out here and they're already in their second season. And I'll use somebody like Braden Hicks, for example, who started playing football last February, and he's out here competing for jobs on both sides of the ball. So it's a little bit weird. It's a quick turnaround. But as you said, we're doing a lot of skill development in the spring, and that stuff's carried over to the fall. So we can kind of get into our team segments more and kind of get ahead quicker than we would in a normal year, having that long time off in between seasons.
Terrific. And can you tell us about your group of coaches this year that you'll be working with?
Yeah, the coaching staff has been great, mostly teachers at the high school, which is awesome. We're all in the building. We see the kids every single day, and we can collaborate with each other in the building. Coach Collins is a teacher. He's running our defense this year. He's been working with the freshman team the past couple of years. Coach Simos, who coaches baseball, he coached me in football when I was a student and an athlete here. He's running our offense. And then we have a variety of other teachers, as I said. Coach Prescott, who's helping with the JV, Coach Gaudette, the infamous Coach Hughes, who's helping out in kind of a consultant role and helping with our line. And we also just hired another sub-varsity coach from Milford, James Broder, who's going to help us out as well. So great staff, great with kids, great coaches, and that's all I can ask for. They've helped me out a lot in this crazy month that it's been.
Get a break, pick everything up. We'll see you tomorrow. Good job. Hey, let's go. Come on, boys. How we doing? Any better? That's right. We continue to your run. Let's go. Who's on three? 1, 2, 3. Present the football.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into this segment of HCAM Sports Talk. I'm Tom Nappy, and joining me is Kevin Stone from the New England Football Journal, and we also have Andy Barron from MyFM 101.3. Guys, how are you?
Good to see you, Tom. Finally football season, finally.
Absolutely. Hope everybody had a good Labor Day weekend. And now we're ready to get back into business, and that's the business of football. We got week 1 coming up. And without further ado, we're going to get right into it. It's time for our NFL picks. We're going to go through every single game. We'll go around the table. We'll pick them. And we have submitted picks from Jared and Mike. So we'll get those in there as well. But we'll be talking a little bit about every game in the NFL that's going to be happening in week 1. Can't believe it's already here. Seems like the draft was just yesterday. But our first game is going to be Tampa Bay and Dallas, Thursday night football. So the Cowboys get to watch the Bucs get their rings and have their Super Bowl ceremony. I'm sure they are very happy about that. I'm going to start off, and I think Tom Brady and Tampa Bay, they're going to dominate this game and start the Cowboys off on a very low note. Andy, what do you got?
Tom, we talked about this last week. I think this is a lock. I don't even know. Kevin, you probably know what the line is here. There's absolutely no way Dallas is even going to have a chance to win this game. Tampa Bay is going to steamroll this team. They have way too much talent. I mean, I would be stunned if they lost this game. I think they win by Tampa by 3 touchdowns at least.
Oh, wow. I think it's a little bit closer than that. I will never pick against Tom Brady ever. So I think Tampa wins, but I legitimately think, well, going undefeated is obviously extremely hard. 20-0 is on the table for them. If you look at their schedule, it is really soft. Yeah. Their division, there's not a quarterback in that division that should scare anybody. So look, I'm a Tom Brady guy. I always will be. 20-0 probably doesn't happen, but I think they start on the road this week. Well, the road to it, I should say. I think it's possible. I really do.
I think it's possible too. They returned everyone from last season. Yeah. They added a couple weapons, and Tom Brady's Tom Brady. And he said he plans on playing in Tampa for years to come. So who knows when this guy will retire.
Well, let me ask you this, though. If by any chance they go 20-0, do you really think he's done?
Oh, yeah. There's no better way to go.
I don't know. I can't really predict anything with him anymore.
There's just no better way to go, I think.
I think he's going to play till he's 50. I think he wants to break some records.
I think he might. I wouldn't put anything past this guy. And here's the other thing. he wins again this year, and say if they did go 20-0, which I still think that's almost, it could happen, but I don't think it will.
Yeah.
No team's ever three-peated.
Mhm.
I mean, that's another thing he could do. I mean, he's completely on a completely different level. We will never see this again, probably for the next 50 years, maybe even longer.
And Jared and Mike, they both picked Tampa Bay as well.
Mhm.
All right, on to the Sunday games. So this matchup's a doozy. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Houston is hosting. This game is going to be a dumpster fire. I'm going to go Jacksonville because I don't know anyone on Houston except Tyrod Taylor, and I think they are going to probably go defeated this year. I don't know if they'll get a win. That team is a mess. Give me Jacksonville. Andy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Jacksonville too. Not that they're any better. I just think Houston, like you just said, they are a complete mess. I mean, Tyrod Taylor is not a bad player, but what do they have for options in the team? I like Jacksonville in this game. I think this could be like a 7-3 game or a 10-7 game. I don't think you're going to see a lot of offense here, but I am going to take the Jaguars.
Do they still have that running back they got from Arizona?
David Johnson?
Yes.
I don't remember.
I think they do. The Texans, I think they do, but that's really about all the offense that they have. I mean, they're a complete mess. I mean, it's just and nobody wants to play there either.
No.
So can I pick a tie here? I legitimately think this has tie.
Bob picked one last year. He picked a tie.
Good.
It has a feel of that, 13-13, no one wants to win kind of game. But if I have to, I'll take Jacksonville just because they're at home. And it's, that the whole, kind of Trevor Lawrence new era thing. But you couldn't pay me to watch that game.
I'll make a note that you used your tie card there and picked.
Hey, if I get it right, I definitely am taking advantage of that. You don't hear about it for the rest of the year.
And as far as Jared and Mike, Jared picked Jacksonville, and Mike went with the shocker. He went with Houston. So either that's going to be his first loss, or he will get a win over all of us.
They'll be laughing at all of us if they win. So
I'll be very shocked if Houston wins anything. That team is so horrible. All right, LA Chargers at the Washington football team. Hopefully someday they'll come up with a name. I think this is going to be a great game. Washington, very good defense. The Chargers, they looked good last year. This game could be a tie. This game, I think, is going to be a wild one. I'm having a tough time here. I'm going to go Washington, I guess, since they're home and their defense looks really good. I'll go Washington. Andy, who do you got?
I'm going to take Washington as well. I like their defense. I like Ron Rivera as a coach. I think Washington is a playoff team. I think they're going to win the NFC East. Who's the quarterback? Is it Fitzpatrick? Was he named the starter?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go with Washington. I just like the team. They're not really a team that's got a lot of big name players, but they seem to be pretty smart players, like Terry McLaurin and Logan Thomas, very good players. I can't buy into the Chargers, even though I really like Justin Herbert. I think he's a legit quarterback, but it's very tough for a team coming from west to east. That's a tough spot, a 1:00 spot. I think it'll be close, but I'm taking Washington.
All right, Kevin, what do you got?
So I actually think this is a lot better game than it seems like on paper. That Washington team almost beat Tampa in the playoffs, last year. So I'm going to take the Chargers just because I am so high on Herbert. I was so impressed with him last year. But I think it's a close game. I think it's 24-21-ish, something like that. And then I agree with both you guys. Washington's a really good team, I think. I think they're going to be underrated this year. And I also don't hate the name. I've kind of gotten used to it.
Yeah, we could have the Washington football team, the Seattle football team. We'll just have everybody be called the football team. Well, you're not the only one that went with the Chargers, Kevin, because Jared picked the Chargers, and Mike is going with Washington.
Well, now I feel worse about my pick.
Yeah, this could be you and Jared always have a pick that you lose on together. So
always.
Maybe this is going to be that one. But we'll have to see. All right, Seattle at Indianapolis. Indy, I don't know. I'm not too enthusiastic about them. Seattle, they stepped it up on the defense a little bit, which they desperately needed to. And they stepped it up with the offensive line a little bit because Russell Wilson desperately needs protection. So I think I'm going to go Seattle in this one. Andy, who do you got?
Yeah, I got Seattle too. We weren't even sure if Russell Wilson would be back in Seattle, but no, the offense, this team goes through Russell Wilson. I'm not buying Indianapolis. I just think they're just a boring team. I mean, really, the Seahawks, but it's on the road, but I like Seattle probably by about a touchdown.
All right, Kevin.
So it's at Indy, right? Not at Seattle?
Yes.
At Indy, yep.
I'm going to take Indy then. If it was at Seattle, I would have taken Seattle.
Ooh.
I think both teams are actually kind of even. Defensively, that Indy team is really, really good. Offensively, I don't trust Carson Wentz. But, again, same thing. I think it's going to be a tight game. 17-10-ish.
Yeah, I think this will be a pretty tight game. Maybe a little more high scoring than that. Maybe like 24, 21 type of thing.
DK Metcalf that guy is unbelievable. He could have been on this roster, but they took N'Keal Harry instead.
Yep.
Well, he ruined my fantasy team last year because I had Lockett, who was having a great season.
Oh, good player.
Before Metcalf came back, and then Metcalf just stole all the receptions.
That's quite a duo right there.
Yeah.
It really is. That is a great receiving core. Jared and Mike both went Seattle. So Kevin, the only one with Indy, he could get a big win right there. All right, here's a dumpster fire matchup for you. The New York Jets at the Carolina Panthers. Just give me Carolina. I got nothing to say about this game. I think the Jets are going to stink as usual. I think Carolina is going to be probably, 6-11, 7-10 kind of team since there's 17 games this year. So I think this will probably end up being a close game, but I got no faith in the Jets. I'll go Carolina. Andy, what about you?
Yeah, I got Carolina. I mean, even though I don't think they're really that much better, this is probably going to be another very low scoring type of game. But I can't pick the Jets. I mean, I just, I know they've made some improvements, but I take Carolina in this one.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, same. They have the best player on the field, and Christian McCaffrey. I think, if you have the best player on the field, they're probably going to win. So I'm with you guys. Though. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game by any means. I do think the Jets might be a little bit better than last year. It's hard to be as bad as they were. But yeah, give me Carolina in that game.
We are Carolina across the board. Jared and Mike also going with Carolina. All right, our next game, Arizona at Tennessee. Did I skip one? No, okay, I didn't. Oh, wait, I did. Minnesota at the Bengals is our next game. I am going to go with Minnesota. I think the Bengals maybe have a little potential to be somewhat halfway decent. Yeah. Probably not, though, because of Joe Burrow. He's back, hopefully healthy. And it was a brutal injury he took last year, but I got no faith in the Bengals. And I think the Minnesota defense is going to be a lot better than they were last year. They brought back a few big names, added to it. So give me Minnesota for this one. Andy, how about you?
I got Minnesota as well. I just, coming off an injury like Joe Burrow has, this probably is going to be a year where it's going to be a little bit of a setback. Maybe, you got to wait usually a couple of years coming off an injury like that. Listen, I think he's a good player, but I just don't. There's not really any faith in Cincinnati. This might be another kind of low scoring game too. Cincinnati's a kind of a weird place to play. I don't know. Just sometimes teams struggle there for some reason. I don't know what it is. Even the Patriots have had problems there over the years, but I think the Vikings defense is pretty good. I'm going with them this week.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, didn't one of those Super Bowl Patriots teams lose an opener in Cincinnati? Or am I making that up?
No, they did.
Yes, that was
03, 04 maybe?
01.
Was it 01?
They lost to Cincinnati in Cincinnati, yes.
It might be, yeah. So you're right about that. I'm going to take I wanted to take Cincy here just to kind of be a contrarian, but I can't. There's no way I can take the Bengals in that scenario. And I'll be through with Joe Burrow. I was really high on him last year early. He looked the part. But yeah, the ACL thing, it's tough to come back from. So yeah, I'm with both you guys. They don't win this weekend, but I think they'll be okay this year.
All right, we are Minnesota across the board on that one. So we don't have to worry about any kind of tiebreaker with that game. Our next game is Arizona at Tennessee. Jared went Arizona. Mike went Tennessee. Kevin, we'll start off with you this time. Who are you taking, Arizona or Tennessee?
Tennessee, but this one's going to be a shootout, I think. Just some of the best receivers on both sides in the league. So I'm thinking like 42 points each, and comes down to an overtime kick or something. But I'm going to go Tennessee. I think they're going to be really good this year.
All right, Andy.
I'm going to take Arizona here. I think this is a big year for Kyler Murray. Arizona kind of fizzled out last year, he's a really good player. No question about it. Tennessee's kind of one of these Jekyll and Hyde teams. They're talented and they are tough at home, but I like Arizona in this game. I think it's going to be close.
All right. That comes down to me. So we got 2 for Tennessee, 2 for Arizona. I'm going to go Arizona too. I can't imagine that Tennessee offense is going to be as good as it was last year, especially since they no longer have Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, Julio.
A little bit. Oh, they do have Julio. That's right. Forgot about that. But yes, I agree. This is a great game to bet the over on. This is going to be a great shootout. I'm going to go Arizona in a very close one. This is going to be an absolute shootout, probably one of the most entertaining games of the week. This should be a good one. San Francisco at Detroit. I don't even know what to think of these two teams really, but I'm going to go San Francisco. I just think Detroit is probably going to be an absolute mess. Andy, what do you got?
Yeah, that's a good point. Another weird matchup, 2 teams that just don't seem to really have an identity. We don't know what Jimmy Garoppolo and is going through right now out there. We don't know, him and his Kyle Shanahan's relationship, but the same can be same with Detroit. Now they have Jared Goff in there. I don't know. I'm going to take the Niners.
All right, Kevin.
So the more I think about this, it's such an odd matchup to open the year with. Like if you're a 49ers fan, how do you even get excited to watch your team that opening day? But you have to take San Fran, right? Dan Campbell's the head coach in Detroit. Who knows what they're going to be doing? So, it's a really weird matchup to open a year with, but I'll take the 49ers.
All right. And we are 49ers across the board. Jared and Mike also taking San Francisco. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Jared and Mike have both taken Buffalo. Andy, you could start this one.
Yeah, I got Buffalo in this one. This could potentially be a good game. I just don't think Pittsburgh's the same team they were. They got absolutely run over by Cleveland last year in the playoffs. I think Ben Roethlisberger's a shell of himself. This Bills team is better. And with a sold out, Ralph Wilson Stadium, that place is going to be electric. I like the Bills. I like the Bills in this one.
There's going to be some serious tables broken that day.
I'm going to take Buffalo, but I think we're all in agreement. They take a small step back this year, right? They almost have to. They overachieved last year. So I think this will be one of the better games of the week. Just like you said, Andy, based on the atmosphere, that place is going to be nuts. And I can't stand Roethlisberger. So, I'll take Buffalo, but don't be surprised if they're, a 9-8 team this year.
And we are Buffalo across the board because I'm taking Buffalo too. Like you said, Kevin, I think that team definitely takes a step back this year. I can't imagine they'll be as good as they were last year. I definitely think they are by far the biggest threat for the Patriots in the division race. I think Pittsburgh, though, I don't know what to think of them. Ben Roethlisberger did not look very good coming into camp. He was out of shape, and who knows how long he's going to last. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries recently in the previous seasons, and I don't know if he can last the whole season anymore. I'd imagine he's pretty close to retirement. I think Pittsburgh will be a threat. I think they'll be around. They'll probably make the playoffs, and I think this will be a good game. But I got to go Buffalo here. All right. Matchup of the Birds. Philadelphia at Atlanta. I am going to go. I don't know. This is a tough one. I'll go Philly. I just think Atlanta probably will not have a defense once again. They'll probably have somewhat of an offense, but they just did not look good at all. So, yeah, I'll go Philly, I guess. Andy, what do you got?
Well, I'm actually going to go with Atlanta here because I don't think either one of these teams are going to be very good, but Philadelphia has looked horrendous in the preseason. They did not play well. This is kind of a toss-up almost if you really think about it, but it's in Atlanta. Yeah, I'll take the Falcons.
You know, it's the Tuesday after Labor Day. I actually meant to pick Atlanta. I don't know why I said Philly. Philly looked horrible in the preseason is what I meant. Still sleeping here. Kevin, what do you got?
Yeah, this is almost worse than San Fran Detroit for an opener, but I'm going to take the Falcons just because they're at home. I think this is one of those games where, home team wins kind of thing. Neither team is very good. So I'll take the home team.
And we are Atlanta across the board. And you know what? I'm happy about that because I don't like our picks being decided on a game like Philly and Atlanta. Come on. All right, our next matchup, we're getting into the 4:25, 4 o'clock games now. Or actually, they're all 4:25. We got Cleveland at Kansas City. I think Cleveland's going to give them a battle. They certainly did in the playoffs last year, especially if Mayfield is healthy and ready to rock. I think this would be a pretty good game, but KC at home, I think Kansas City's going to get started off on the right foot. Give me Kansas City. Andy, what do you got?
Yeah, I like Kansas City too. They're just so tough to beat at Arrowhead. I mean, really, it's just a completely different atmosphere there. This game was in Cleveland. Might be a different story, but I still just don't think the Browns are quite there yet. I think they're a good team, and I think they're going to be in the mix in the AFC, but I still think they are a step below Kansas City. I like the Chiefs.
All right.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Arrowhead is just it might be one of the last true home field advantages that are left. I think a Mile High in Denver maybe,
and Lambeau.
And Lambeau in Seattle, and that's about it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's Arrowhead is Arrowhead, and the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, offense and defense. So I'll take KC.
All right, we're KC across the board. Jared Mike also picking KC. And on our next matchup, we got Green Bay at New Orleans. And I believe they're playing in Jacksonville.
They are. Yep.
Yeah, because of all the hurricane damage in New Orleans. New Orleans will not see their home stadium throughout the month of September. And we're certainly praying for everybody over there in New Orleans that was affected by Hurricane, Ida. So hopefully everyone's staying safe over there. But I'm going to go Green Bay on this one. Jameis Winston is the starting Saints quarterback. I don't feel like I really have to say much more than that. Andy, what do you got?
I like Green Bay. I said this on our show last week. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go off. And let's face it, the Saints are not the team they were last year. And they got a lot of other distractions right now. Look, I mean, some of these players might have had their houses destroyed or whatnot. It's really a bad situation. And who knows when they're going to go back to New Orleans. I mean, really, you just don't know. That's going to be a lot weighing on a team. You're home, but you're playing in another stadium. I just think this has a loss written all over it for the Saints. I'm going with Green Bay.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's the only thing I would think of or kind of worry about, I should say, is, if they use it as a rallying cry kind of thing. And kind of, rally around each other. But it's Aaron Rodgers, it's the Packers offense still, and it's Jameis Winston on the other side. So he's going to end up turning the ball over a few times and giving Rodgers some extra possession. So you got to go with Green Bay here.
All right. Well, Jared disagrees with you. He went with New Orleans.
Good.
And Mike went with Green Bay. So 4 for Green Bay, 1 for New Orleans. All right, Denver at New York Giants. Jared has Denver. Mike has Denver. Kevin, what do you got?
I'm going to take the Giants here. Another one of those home team gets the win kind of things. Neither team is great. Other than that, I don't really know what else to say. Neither team is good.
Yeah, I think Denver will probably be subpar again, kind of in that 7-10, 8-9 kind of area.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Denver here. I don't have faith in the Giants defense, nor do I have faith in their offensive line. Andy, what do you got?
I'm going to agree with Kevin here. I'm going with the Giants. This Denver team is not the Denver team that we're used to seeing. They're just very mediocre at best. They really still don't have a quarterback. I mean, Noah Fant is a very good tight end, but I got to admit, I think Joe Judge has actually done a pretty good job with the Giants. Like, I know they're not a Super Bowl caliber team or anything, but Daniel Jones is still a pretty good quarterback. It's at home, but I think it's going to be another kind of ugly type of game. But I like the Giants.
All right, Jared's Denver, Mike's Denver, I'm Denver. You two are the Giants. All right, we're going to hold off on the Patriots. We'll save the best for last. We'll do Sunday Night Football. Chicago at the Rams. This game should be very interesting. I'm going to go Rams. They're at home. I think they want to make a nice impact with their new quarterback. He's from Detroit. I'm having a mind blank.
Stafford.
Matthew Stafford.
Yes. I think Stafford's going to bolster this offense too.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rams might take a little bit of a step up this year. So I'll go LA. Andy, what do you got?
I like the Rams too. They're at home. I mean, is Andy Dalton starting for the Bears?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me.
I don't know why, but I guess their reasoning was they didn't want to rush the rookie in there.
Why? If he can play him.
Right. I guess they didn't want to rush him in, have it go bad, and his confidence gets torn apart or something like that. I don't know.
The Bears have never had a quarterback. I mean, what are you doing? It's like I think you're making it worse. A kid can play. Like I'm not saying they're going to win or anything, but at least show that this is your future. Andy Dalton is not the future of the Chicago Bears. I mean, I'm taking the Rams. I mean, I think they're going to get blown out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could see a potential blowout in this one. Kevin, what do you got?
So I'm going to take the Rams, but at first thought, the Bears have dealt with Matt Stafford for years now. So if anyone's going to be able to kind of get in his head early, it might be that defense. But on the other side, how are they going to score and match the Rams at any point? So I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of low scoring or at least ugly, I guess. But yeah, I'll take the Rams there. I don't love it though.
All right, we are Rams across the board. Jared and Mike also going with the Rams. All right, so before we get to the Pats, we'll skip on down to Monday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens against the Las Vegas Raiders. First home game with fans, or is it the first home game in general at the Raiders Stadium?
Yeah, because the Raiders did not have any fans at all last year.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the second year in their stadium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. So they played in an empty stadium last year.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a good game, I feel like. The Ravens, I mean, they're always a tough team. They're going to be around. The Raiders, you don't know what you're going to get with them. They usually start off pretty good and then fall apart. I guess I'll go with the Raiders. I think they want to make a positive impact in their first game with fans in the new stadium. But I think this is going to be a very close game, and either team could take this one. I'll go Raiders. Andy, what do you got?
I agree. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to take the Ravens. I think they got a little bit more experience, a little bit more veteran leadership on the team. You're like you said, you never know what you're going to get out of the Raiders. Derek Carr has just kind of been very inconsistent. I don't think he's really been the same since he had that injury about 5 years ago when the Raiders were a legit Super Bowl contender team, and then he got hurt. I don't know. The Raiders, I think the place is going to be jacked up. There's no doubt about it, but I like the Ravens.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vegas. I put a lot of stock in that whole, first night with fans and just the atmosphere in general. And I'm not sold on Baltimore yet. I mean, in big spots, they've choked the last 2 years. So I know it's not a playoff game by any means, but that atmosphere might rattle Lamar Jackson a bit. So I'm going to take Vegas.
All right. Jared agrees with Vegas. Any notes? He actually wrote Oakland, but I'm guessing he means Vegas. But he wrote all of Baltimore's running backs are hurt. So that's his reasoning for that.
They were working out Le'Veon Bell yesterday. So
ooh, it's rough.
Yeah,
that might be an issue. Mike went Baltimore. So you're not alone on the Baltimore train, Andy.
Good.
All right. New England hosting Miami. This is a 4:25 game. We saved it for last for obvious reasons. It's the local team, so of course we got to save the best for last. Jared went New England, Mike went New England, and I'm going New England. I think Mac Jones and crew get started off on the right foot. I did not like what I saw last year out of Tua. I'm sure the guy will take a bit of a step up this year since he's out of his rookie season, has some experience under his belt. But Miami, kind of an unexpected mess offensively last year. I mean, on paper, they got good receivers, some good running backs, but they didn't really put it together last year. And I think the Patriots, based on what I saw, and I know you can't base too much on preseason, but they look like they're ready to go. I really feel like this team is going to come out week one and be ready for this matchup. So I'll go New England. Andy, how about you?
Yeah, I got the Patriots. I think this place is going to be electric on Sunday. It's going to be fired up. I just don't think Miami's going to be able to muster up a lot here. The Mac Jones era has begun, but don't expect. I don't think you're going to see a lot of passes thrown. And this is a run-first team. I think this is the best running team in the NFL right now. I just don't think Miami's defense, they're going to get worn down. I think the Patriots offensive line is very physical, and I like the Patriots. I think it might be close early, but I like them going away.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think you're going to see a lot of the run game at first, and you'll see some passes for sure, but I don't think they want to overwork Mac Jones in these early games. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, no, you hit it right on the head. They're not going to – you'll see some play action, obviously, but look, that Miami secondary is one of the best in the league. So to have Mac Jones, go sling it against them his first game out probably isn't your best bet. And the receiving core, I'm still not sure who can get open. So it might be very tight end heavy to start the day as well. I like them 24-21, maybe even more low scoring than that. It's going to be a defensive slog, I think. But on the other side of the ball, defensively, I think they blitz the crap out of Tua. I think they get in his head all day. They're going to be flying around on that side of the ball all year. But I wouldn't expect much out of Mac Jones in that first game. That's all.
I agree, Kevin. And I.
Who's your pick? Did you say New England?
Oh God, yeah, of course. but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami came in here and pulled the upset though, just because of their defense. And again, it is a rookie. So, but overall, yeah, I'll take the Pats for now.
And Brian Flores knows the Patriots very well. He's a good coach. Yeah. I mean, he's done a good job. I just like the Patriots. If this game was in Miami, then I'm probably not
Miami. Agreed. Yeah, I would too.
Miami. I think, especially in week one.
Oh yeah. It's 100 degrees down there.
Huge difference if you're home or not.
It's also worth noting too, the BC tight end from last year, Hunter Long, who was the best tight end in the country. He might have a role on Sunday. I know they have Mike Gesicki, but don't be surprised if Long is a red zone target or makes a little bit of noise. He's a BC guy along with Brian Flores, so he's going to want to get him on the field if he can. Sure. So just kind of keep an eye out for that too.
Oh, I'm sure get him on the field in front of the hometown fans. Yeah. That'll be interesting to watch. I think this will be a close game. You got Mac Jones. He looks good, but it's his first NFL game regular season. So I can't imagine that it'll be a blowout in either direction. I think Mac Jones is going to be fine. He's played obviously in front of some very big crowds in college, going to Alabama, who has a huge stadium. He's pretty much been in an NFL like type of atmosphere. So I don't think it'll be too overwhelming for him, but I think this game will be a close one. It always seems to be when New England and Miami meet up. And it's a little different to see them meeting up week one, but I think there should be a good battle. And if hopefully they get a win, start off on the right foot, because I think a win in week one is huge for the confidence of a rookie quarterback.
Sure.
Yeah, their schedule was pretty soft early on too. They should easily be like a 6-3 team, heading into the later part of the season. But yeah, I'm with you. It's a huge conference builder if you can get this one. It definitely helps that it's at home too. Because you're right. If it was in Miami, I'd be terrified.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just glad to see that they finally made the decision to go with Mac Jones. It's time to move. Let's see what we got. Like I was just telling you about, with the Bears not putting in Justin Fields, they're going with Dalton. The Patriots, I think, are doing the right thing. Yeah, it's a big gamble, sure. I mean, we have not started a rookie in nearly 30 years, but you can't help but not be excited. I mean, this guy has got a boatload of talent. I mean, he's your future, but there's going to be growing pains. I mean, he's not going to get it right every week. It's but what I like is the players are on board with it. They are talking about how they like how Mac Jones prepares. That's a big thing.
It certainly is. And I got a note about that, but I did want to mention Jared and Mike also picked Patriots, or Pats across the board. Did you guys hear that? Supposedly Mac Jones was showing Cam Newton the playbook.
I don't buy it.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't buy it.
There's a number of people saying this.
So the only reason I would trust it a little bit is it's from Rob Nikovich, who obviously still has sources in the building. But I also think it's part of a smear campaign on Cam. I mean, look, he was, to his credit, he was the ultimate professional here, except for when he screwed up the COVID protocols and cost himself a job. But yeah, I was stunned he got released outright, though. If he doesn't mess those protocols up, he's the starter on Sunday. Right. And again, when I was last on with you guys, I said, Mac has been the better guy in camp, but it hadn't been so obvious that I think he would have gotten the job. And I still don't think Belichick wanted to give it to him yet. So it's crazy, man. But yeah, he cost himself the job flat out.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's most likely what did happen. I think the COVID protocols definitely had a huge impact in the future of Cam. And as you said, I mean, Mac overall, did look good in training camp, but Cam didn't look bad at all. And if you got a pretty good option to start the game rather than throwing the rookie in there, I feel like you do that. Now, if you're the Bears, you don't really have a pretty good option because it's Andy Dalton. Okay. I think Cam Newton's probably a better option than Andy Dalton.
Yes.
So if you're the Bears, you should go with the rookie. But in the Pats case, I was shocked Cam got cut, as I'm sure a lot of people were.
And Bill, he's been pretty vocal about this whole vaccine thing. He kind of admitted it the other day, so
he walked it back a little bit too, though.
A little bit, but
he had no choice.
Really, he said there's still 11 players on the team that aren't vaccinated.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, to be honest.
Yeah,
I thought he said 11, and then he said, along the lines of, it's a personal choice. So then I'm like thinking about that, and then I'm thinking about this rumor that Mac Jones was supposedly teaching Cam the playbook, and I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't all about the protocols. Maybe Cam just couldn't understand the playbook. I mean, there's been players here that have had that problem before, Chad Ochocinco, and they didn't last very long. So maybe it was an issue with the playbook. Maybe it was a combination of both. But when I heard Belichick say that there were still 11 players unvaccinated and it's a personal choice, that made me think maybe it wasn't all about the COVID protocol.
Yeah, but look, it's a personal choice until you're part of a team with millions of dollars on the line. Right. At that point, just cut the crap, man, and get it done.
Yeah.
Whether political or not, look, you're part of a team, and there's an ultimate goal in mind. If they're a competitive disadvantage with their standing right now. So
I mean, I hate that the NFL's doing this, forcing people to get it, but that's an argument we could have another day.
Yeah.
I don't like that rule, but it's the rule, and you're getting paid millions of dollars. So, suck it up. If you could potentially cost your team an entire game, if there's an outbreak, and you might make it so your team can't even play that game. That would be awful.
And look at Tampa too. If Tom Brady's not there, do you really think a Bruce Arians team is 100% vaccinated? No way.
50%.
But they don't want to screw Tom Brady over and potentially cost him another chance at a ring. So they all said, all right, let's do it.
Right. And let's face it, the league is making it very, very difficult for players who aren't vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
They really are.
Yes.
And so, that's not going to change, and the league is definitely, it would not shock me if a game gets forfeited this year. I'm not saying it's going to happen here, but I think it will.
No, I agree. And look, even from my end, the media, only 25 local guys are allowed in Sunday. That's it. And when you're at a press conference, you're wearing a tracker. If you're 6 feet, within a player, it starts going off. So it's still a major thing in the league. And every PR department is terrified of it still right now.
And look at how bad it is in baseball. Baseball has handled this thing so poorly. I mean, the NFL's had its problems, but I feel like they've at least are trying to get it under control. I don't know what you two think, but
I agree. I've stopped caring about the Red Sox. So I find humor in what's going on with them at this point.
Wasn't most of the Red Sox players that got it though vaccinated?
Most, yeah, some, but just in general, you're right about baseball in general. Just bring it to the Red Sox though. It's a debacle, and that's an organization thing. But I don't think you're going to see. I don't think you'll see it as badly in the NFL this year, just because they've made it so hard. Just for players to come in the building. In MLB, players can walk in and out and stroll around if they have a mask. Okay, it's a lackadaisical, if I can speak, atmosphere for Major League Baseball. I think that's all.
I feel like baseball is a little different though, because you're playing 162 games a year. You're playing almost every night.
Mm-hmm.
You're traveling, to multiple different states, multiple different stadiums within a given week.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a bit of a different scenario. In football, it's like you travel to your weekly opponent, or you play at home, but you're just going to that one location. You're not going to Chicago and then a couple nights later going to Tampa and stuff like that. So you're not traveling as much in football. That might have an impact. And I think that's why a lot of times in baseball, you have these big outbreaks within an organization because someone picked it up on the road somewhere, or, at a game, or who knows, maybe from a fan or a media guy, wherever. But then it just spreads like wildfire around that organization. I feel like in football, you won't see it as much because less traveling than baseball.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, it's just, and the thing is, when baseball, when you get an outbreak and you're on the road, you're like stuck there. I mean, you can't really leave.
Yeah, I thought I heard yesterday on the Sox broadcast that Bogarts is still in Tampa or something like that.
It's not good.
Yeah, quarantine there. I mean, I guess it's not the worst place you could be, but
right.
So Kevin, where's the New England Football Journal heading week 1 for high school football?
So we're lucky enough to have a game of the week sponsored by Gold Athletics. So our first game will be Xaverian and Everett at Xaverian, two powerhouses. I saw Everett a few weeks ago in a scrimmage. I grew up hearing about the big bad Everett, being a Waltham kid. They are the big bad Everett again. There are some huge kids on that team with a lot of speed, and Xaverian is always Xaverian. So I know you guys will be out there too, and it's going to be awesome to be back. Football in March was okay, but September is where it should be.
Yeah. Over on HCAM, we'll have Wayland and Hopkinton. First game of the season for the Hillers. First home game as well. Andy, what about MyFM?
MyFM will be opening up Foxborough at Milford. Should be quite a good game. Pretty good rivalry there. And Tom, I remember you and I covered that game 2 years ago. That was quite a battle.
Oh, absolutely. That's always a good battle between those two teams. And funny enough, Hopkinton will be taking on Foxborough this season. It's towards the middle of the season. They'll be on the road against Foxborough. And the Foxborough coach is a former Hopkinton coach.
Jack Martinelli, he's been there.
Yeah.
He's one of the longest tenured coaches in Massachusetts. I believe he's up there with Ken LaChapelle from Northbridge and what's that? John, what's his name? The guy
from CM?
From Catholic Memorial. Yeah. So he's done it.
Ken LaChapelle still going?
I'm sorry?
Ken LaChapelle still going? I believe.
Oh, yes. Yes, he is.
It's going to be his 53rd season or something like that?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And real quick, don't forget about the college state championship this weekend too with BC and UMass. We'll be out there. We'll both be out there in Amherst. The line is 37.5 right now. So start pounding BC if you can.
Oh yeah. I think BC's going to beat them by
and
at least
real
40.
Quickly, the Mass Pirates are in the United Bowl against the Arizona Rattlers.
Some arena football. What their season started? Midsummer?
They got pushed back because of COVID, but they're playing in the United Bowl against the Arizona Rattlers on Sunday. And from former Patriots player Patrick Pass is the head coach of the Rattlers. I mean, I'm sorry, the Pirates.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I got to check them out sometime. I heard those.
Good team. It's a good team.
Absolutely.
Very good team. Yeah.
All right. We got a couple minutes left, guys. Any final thoughts about anything else?
Have you stopped caring about the Red Sox? Because I did about 3 weeks ago.
Yes. I just don't.
It's an embarrassment.
I mean, didn't they win a couple games recently and they're right back in the wild card race?
Truthfully, it's the least I've watched since I was about 10 years old.
They're not going to go anywhere.
I've always considered myself a baseball, purist, I guess you can say. I could give two craps about this team now. It's ever since the deadline. Well, the organization told you not to pay attention anymore. So, and it showed.
Yeah.
They're out of the division. I mean, they're playing for the wild card. Who knows who they're going to play? And it's not going to be easy because now you're only half game behind New York, but you got Toronto and Seattle are playing really well. You got to go on the West. There is still a possibility this team may not make the postseason.
I hope they don't at this point.
I think if they do, they're going to get knocked out in the wild card round.
Yeah, imagine if they go against Garrett Cole. Think this offense is going to do anything? Come on.
No. And then if you win that, you're going to probably have to play Tampa again. And
yeah.
It's not going to be a good outcome for them. But we are out of time, guys. It's been fun. We'll do the NFL picks again next week. Best of luck to you in the picks. Kevin, Andy, thanks for joining us on the show. And thank you for watching, everybody. Take care. Be well. We'll talk to you again soon.